What's up, guys? Welcome to Force Will Spoilers. I'm excited. It's way earlier than I was even expecting it. But as we go through the cards, we're going to do hopefully 4 per night. It's what they did today. So
they also just they posted 2 and we're like, oh, okay, cool. Well, I guess they're doing like they did before, and then they randomly posted 2 more. So heck, if we know what their posting schedule is going to be.
At least the pictures are like full size and consistent, though.
We'll essentially try to wait till there's 4 images though to go over the cards and do our videos on spoilers like that. Gives it at least some length. But if you guys are pumped about what you're seeing here today, definitely check out the link in the description below for Happy Little Hug Factory to help sponsor of our channel. They have pre-orders up. You can go check out the new set. I believe it's $80, and that's usually shipped. So you go check that out.
Actually, before we get started here, I forgot we should go over. So there was cards somewhat spoiled earlier.
There was promos revealed, which we did go over in the podcast.
Yeah, we didn't.
I think we'll touch up on some of the ones that are actually involved here with this video, correct?
We'll go over them briefly at the end, but there's one specifically we need to go over here at the beginning. So let me pull that up here. We're going to go over this one specifically, then go into the normal spoilers, in case you guys listened to the podcast and got our detailed analysis of the spoilers, the promos, and then we'll do the promos at the end just briefly. But So real quick, because this is relevant, the promo card that was spoiled, sorry for the beeping, let me real quick mute that, since someone decided to message us all of a sudden.
Oh, Melissa, he's calling you out.
Is Odin, Supreme God, which is 2 void, 2 white, 2 black, 15/15 high god resonator. With flying, discard your hand, recover this card, play this ability only if you have 1 or more cards in your hand. And he has Faith, which we'll get into in a bit. Faith gives him the enter ability, destroy all magic stones. If your ruler is astral, heal it. Alright, so that's all going to be very relevant.
Should we discuss him, or should we just kind of
Well, we had a detailed discussion on the podcast. You guys want to check that out? It was about 70% of the podcast, so it is pretty lengthy. If you want to, see what we had our opinions on that, as well as our theories for the set itself. You can check that out.
But we'll basically discuss him here in a sec, so don't worry about it. So if one of you want to go over this first one, let the cat.
That's you. Oh, okay.
I went over Odin. That was me.
All right, so first one is Brunhild, Ultimate Devotee.
Wow.
It's a 2-cost, 6/6 Valkyrie. She has flying with Awakening of Black. Enter. If your ruler is Brunhild, you may make it astral.
Oh, no.
Destroy target J/Resonator and put 4+1/+1 counters on this card. And Faith. So I'll read what Faith does. This card gains the following text as long as your ruler is astral. Remove this card from your in your graveyard from the game and produce a black and spin this spell only to play Odin Supreme God.
Oh no, she's crazy.
She is actually really good.
Yeah.
She's fucking crazy.
So
okay,
that's one thing.
So this her Faith doesn't get her online a crazy amount or anything, but
it gets Odin online. It depending on how many you have in the graveyard.
You can only activate her Awakening if Brunhild is judgmented, right? If she's on her J-Ruler side.
No. Only if she's astral.
No, I'm talking about her Awakening enter ability.
Making it astral, it has to be on the ruler side. If it's judgmented, exactly. It won't work.
It has to be on the J-Ruler side.
Yeah. No, the ruler side. I don't know why. Is that...
Well, because the way to make it astral is that it dies. So I figured that...
Well, that it gains astral is from dying.
Right.
Yeah, it dies, flips over, and then becomes astral. So I would assume it has to be ruler side to become astral. Otherwise, you wouldn't have destroy target J ruler. It would say make target J ruler astral as effect in the game. I feel like, which would be confusing. But yeah, this I think is super strong because one, it's a 2-cost 6/6 Valkyrie with flying. That's already decent.
It's solid.
1 black. You can destroy a J ruler for 1 black extra.
Yeah.
That's super strong, not to mention obviously destroying it. And then it gives you a bonus for destroying a J ruler for 1 it gives you a bonus of 4 counters. So you have, for 3, you just got a 10-10 and a dead J-Ruler or dead Resonator, whatever you end up doing, or forcing them to play some sort of counter spell to keep it from not dying or something like that.
Colin, it can be low-righted. Sorry.
Oh yeah, for next 3 months. Yeah.
No, I think she's insane.
And then you're stuck with a 2/2 flyer.
So, my only thing is that it is a good trade-off of playing Brunhild, destroying your own Brunhild, which ideally you want to deactivate to get stuff out of the graveyard and stuff. So there's definitely a trade-off, interesting decision-making tree.
Well, not really, and I'll get to that after we go over the next card. I'll go over that a little bit.
Well, yes, but actually no. Okay,
flavor text.
Sorry, I was double checking something. I was wanting to figure out. So, question on the remove this card from your in your graveyard from the game.
Yeah.
That means one of these has to be in play when you remove the card from graveyard, right? Because that's how Schrodinger works. I didn't know if Schrodinger's wording was the same. Because it's part of the cost. Because Schrodinger, you have to have one in play to be able to remove the 3 cards named Schrodinger in the graveyard from the game to reveal the top card of your deck.
No. This just has to be in your graveyard. Faith, it gains that text, and just the text is remove this card in your graveyard from game, which many other cards in Force will have text of remove this card from game.
Which is just like Schrodinger, which is what I was asking.
No. The better comparison is Mariabella, where you remove her from game to produce 2 to play, or Mariabella's assistant, you remove her to produce 2 to play Maribel. That's a better example.
So Oscar, I would read it like this card gains the following text as long as your ruler is astral. So if my ruler is astral, then she has that text in the graveyard.
Yeah, no, I get that. But I'm just saying it's the same as Schrodinger's wording, but Schrodinger has to be in play to activate the ability to remove 3 Schrodingers from the graveyard to activate its ability. That's the only reason I was double checking.
Yeah.
No.
I think she has it herself.
Okay. Flavor here is Brunhild's faith and sacrifice take form as a prayer at long last reaching the domain of the gods.
Okay. So basically hinting at the gods coming down to do stuff.
Yeah.
Next up.
That's me, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Gungnir, the True Spear. That's type. 3 cost, Divinity 3, Chant/Rune. You may pay 3 less to play this card if you control Odin Supreme God. You may pay 4 less to do Judgment this turn. Yeah.
So, here's what's going to happen. Joey's like, oh, you've got to do this trade-off. This is crazy. And I saw people in the comments like, yeah, it's a good trade-off. No, it is not. All you have to do, here's your play.
By the way, Colin's been brewing on this all day. He's been thinking about
it. No, because this is just silly.
I mean, I kind of already see where he's going with this.
You pay 2, you put out the Resonator, make your ruler astral, you have your sapling tree on the field. Next turn you sacrifice sapling, you discard another one of the chick Brunhild. You have 2 Brunhilds, and the other Brunhild somehow gets the graveyard, dies, something like that. Or not, there's might be other ways if you have a Darkness Stone or whatever. You remove them, you produce 2 Black Will, you have the 3 from sapling, and then you just need to tap 1 stone, and you put Odin into play. Destroys all the magic stones. Heals your ruler. You activate this rune. You flip over for free. You go to your opponent's turn. Your opponent now has 0 stones, while you have a Brunhild who reanimated one of those 2 costs, or the sapling. So you have a bunch of will going into your next turn potentially.
Well, you can't reanimate sapling, but yeah.
Oh yeah, I guess you're right. But reanimate one of those 2 costs.
You can't reanimate the 2 costs either because those are removed from game. But yeah.
It depends on what. Point is, you reanimate something in your graveyard if something is in there.
This is my turn 2 play where I have no cards to reanimate in my graveyard, but there's stuff in the graveyard. I promise. I got
ideally,
running altar.
Ideally, you know what? This actually would probably be a great situation to play the card that puts 10 cards into the graveyard. Without even joking, because
Colin's like, I need 10 keys to make this combo work, but it hits every time.
It's not keys. Holy crap! Let me start over. sacrifice sapling and produce a black will, and you play Odin. Is that good enough for you? Is
No, you can't make
sapling
black
too
will.
much of a key for you?
You can't produce. How do you produce a black will?
With a black stone. Oh my gosh. All
Then
right.
you're playing dual stones, and it's not as.
No,
No, it's a black-white Brunhild.
Yeah, Oscar literally runs a really good black-white Brunhild without
Shout out
anything
to
else.
Derek on that one. Derek Magbanese. I'm sorry, Derek. I didn't mean to mispronounce.
All right,
his name.
you guys are going way off the rails of like.
I'm not-
what,
I'm
what
not
if I
disagreeing.
what if I take everything Colin says super literally to that's the only thing you could possibly play
Anyway,
on
I
that
was
turn?
messing with you. I get what you're saying though, but as somebody
Okay.
who's run that version of Brunhild where you need the tree to go off, it's not very.
I'm not saying you need the
at
tree.
all.
All I'm doing is giving an example of something
Yeah.
of you can, because people were saying, oh, it's you don't even you can, okay. Let's, since you guys are keep getting hung up on specifics, let's take the freaking tree out of the equation. Turn whatever doesn't even matter. You play cards. You make your ruler astral, unmake it. Your opponents, all of their stones are destroyed, and you have a ruler, and you have a resonator, and you have that's a 15/15, and you have another resonator. You control the game now. That's the whole point of the conversation. I was just trying to show a very specific extreme example.
I agree. You were going way too early.
Yeah.
But I agree.
I get it.
I was giving an example of like peak performance of this is technically possible. Is all I was trying to do.
I get where you're coming from. I'm just like, yeah, no, it's good. It is good. I'm not gonna
And-
say it's not good or it's not gonna happen.
In answer
It's-
to people's questions, real quick, of oh, what about altar? Because they'll just get their stones back or whatever. You don't activate this when you see they're playing altar. You wait until they've gotten like 7 stones, and then you destroy them all, because altar combos usually only run about 10 stones. They don't go over the full 20. So now they literally, because they ramped so quickly, you can wipe out their stone base, and you still have all your stones in the world to call into, and they max out at 3 and then can't play half their deck.
My thing is that even with altar, like, so okay, you activate this combo, you destroy all their magic stones, you get in. Ideally, you know they've either altered off or whatever. Doesn't matter. Like, maybe if they have altered out already, but I don't know. There's a bunch of ways that this is literally like game ending combo worthy, like insane. You're probably going to be running alter yourself, so it's probably going to be even better. Like, my ideal scenario is honestly just like black. You know, like the whole black white Brunhild nonsense. Just sacrificial altar to get him, like, play him, activate all of his nonsense abilities. You know, play this card, do judgment, yada yada yada, and then it's like you are in a dominant position. Even if they try and alter, like, what are they gonna do? Like, I don't know. I think this is gonna be like pretty crazy insane.
I think this card is going to be pretty good. I mean, I'm gonna agree with the comment here, which I didn't even realize here, where it says like, if anything, this is just a 3-cost judgment for your Brunhild. Like, even if you didn't go
if you
the
don't have
Odin
Odin,
route,
yeah.
if you didn't do any of that, it's like
That too.
having played Brunhild so many games, I've had probably more occasions where it's like, if I could have played this 5-cost and then judgmented, this would have been solid, but I'm 1 stone short, you know?
Well,
like,
no.
I've probably had that way more than anything. So, like, to do the 5-cost, then 3 to judgment her, that's, like, so much better.
This also opens the door of like quite literal. Also going to get mad at me now, but like you literally, it creates the absolute perfect combo of just like turn 1 you play sapling, and turn 2 you tap remove, you produce 3 will, play this and just judgment, and you discard something with sapling. Like, you're guaranteed the judgment, and you just off of sapling without tapping any of your stones or anything. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't even have to be turn 1 or anything. I'm just saying sapling on its own can judgment your ruler without any outside forces now with this. Which yeah, and this combined
Like,
with the Odin destroying stuff and the other card of with all it can do and stuff, I think is going to make Brunhild really strong.
I will say that, like, obviously I'm trying to poke holes in Colin because I enjoy it, but like, this is obviously an outside force. You can't just say, you know, without outside forces. Anyways, I agree. This is pretty crazy, insane. I think Odin is honestly, like, when I saw him, I was kind of like, yeah, he's pretty crazy. He's like a game-ending guy. But then, like, if with this just in your back pocket, like, he becomes like the game ender, and I think
Yeah, it's
too crazy.
It's pretty cray, and it. Yeah, and this is just, and keep in mind, this is all the stuff that we're thinking of, that you guys might be thinking of as far as like what this could do, or like what I just said with combos and stuff. This is all just based on 2 cards they've revealed for Light. We don't know what else they're revealing. This is their opener of like, and usually they open with a little bit of, obviously we don't know what they're doing now, but they usually open with like the weaker stuff and finish with the strong stuff, or don't even show us that and wait for the full set reveal to reveal some of the stuff we might have missed. So the fact that all with just these 2 cards that have been revealed so far, you can now like completely, and while guessing the promo card revealed, you can completely obliterate your opponent's stones and completely populate your field, and which at that point you basically guarantees you win the game. And if somehow they kill your ruler, you can keep healing it with Odin after a certain point. Well, not keep healing, but you have that in your back pocket now. Is pretty gonna be pretty interesting. But yeah,
I have to agree. I think this is a crazy combo. I think it'll be pretty broken. Yeah.
Man, can you imagine just judgmenting and killing your ruler dying, or killing it over and over again just to flip it over and reanimate, and say like reanimate Brunhild to reanimate something else and all this stuff like over and over again? You just main deck Gungar, because he doesn't pay less in your rune area, so he's the exact same in your main deck as he is the rune deck. So you just keep you're just constantly being super aggressive and flipping over and flipping back.
Yeah,
and
but it would be kind of hard to make them astral and then heal them. Like if you hold on, what does
I guess constantly is too strong of a word, but it's something you can do in some fashion.
Yeah, like Odin, in order to heal your ruler, you have to destroy all your magic stones, and at that point, you're not getting Odin out again, in my opinion. Like, there's very little ways to actually it'll take like another 5 turns, 6 turns to get him out.
It depends. Like I said, we haven't seen everything. I told Oscar, because we're like speculating, are they going to introduce dual card stones or whatever? And I said, what if they introduce special magic stones for Brunhild that say, if this card can't be destroyed, or if this card would be destroyed, put it back in your stone deck. Different things like that. They could.
No, that's crazy.
That
you're talking crazy talk.
Just remember, keep in mind, they no longer have a filter. This is straight from R&D straight to the printer. The filter is gone, so just keep that in mind. They had an infinite combo, Joey, until they errated a card. They had an infinite game-winning combo loop based on like a 2 or 3 cost resonator by accident. So keep that in mind.
Yeah. Anyways, like looking at these cards for the last second before we read that flavor text, is like, I like this rune. It'd definitely be in the rune deck for a Brunhild deck. I like Brunhild. She's really solid. She'll make her way into the deck. Odin is like maybe a one of if I even put in the deck, but it's solid with just the 2 cards alone. It's just my opinion on this.
Yeah, these are, like I said, this combos well with Sapling. Not that Sapling needed stuff to combo with, but like this, perfectly.
Not even that Sapling was even being played in the first place in most lists. Maybe it will be introduced being played. So get your full arts while you can. But
I think it will.
We'll see.
But yeah, no, I think this Brunhild, I disagree. I think Odin is going to be played. I think people will run at least 1 or 2, if not at minimum sideboard him, depending on the deck, because maybe there's decks you don't want to run it.
That's pretty much what I said. Like 1 or 2, if you even run it. Like
you said if even, and I was caveating that.
I'm gonna be like you are 100% of the time. Say, oh, Colin, it was implied. Okay, so it was implied. It was in the sideboard.
I'm sure it was.
Anyways, you want to read the flavor?
Was it my card?
Yeah.
Okay. Just as the Valkyries choose which human soul shall rise again, Odin chooses his Valkyrie. Nice.
Okay. So next up.
Oh, by the way, wait, real quick. I love the flavor of Faith though. Like, I know I haven't really brought it up, but like I love the flavor of like well, I guess more the flavor of I like the flavor of Odin healing Faith. Brunhild's Faith is weird, actually. I like the flavor of Odin coming in and healing like his lieutenant because she had faith in him. The other Faith cards are kind of weird, actually. that I think about it.
But
Anyways,
next up we got Isis, Last of the Ascendants. She's a 3-cost 8/8 Ascendant with First Strike and Bane. Enter. Search your deck for a Fire Resonator with total cost 2 or less. Reveal it and put it into your hand. If it's Nyarlathotep, God Devouring Messiah, which we haven't seen yet, put a Fire Moon Edition token into the field. If your J-Ruler is Isis or Isis the 100 Weapon Master, Moon Editions you control gain tap, produce light or fire.
So I'm going to be straight up. I was super pumped with this card, thinking like, oh, my moons are producing the 2 colors until Colin and Lee. I apparently ignored Colin when he said it. I don't remember this. That she has to be into the field to do that. Didn't click into my mind immediately.
Wait, who?
This
Isis,
card.
Last of the Ascendants.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, it would say put a token in the field with the text. It gains that if you're so because it's separate from that. Cool. It means she has to be on the field, which isn't terrible. That's at least somewhat balances out that mechanism. Mm-hmm. But you do just need it. You can build up those additions, like Oscar had pointed out. There's no mass addition removal. There's no Heavenly Gust, so you're going to have, if there's a lot of addition creation of these moon editions, you build up a bunch of them, and you just need to drop her in the field real quick and have her stick for at least 1 turn, so you can real quick tap them all and do some sort of cool big combos before she goes out. But ideally, you'd want to keep her in there, protect her. If you're producing yellow, you can now run yellow cards that help protect with barrier. There's a red card that gives barrier against chance. So ideally, you just run protection mechanics.
Oh, okay. I thought you were getting a Fire Moon edition, like from your deck. So I was saying like, well, what Fire Moon cards are there? But no, it's a token. Okay.
Yeah, it's a token.
Got it. Okay.
But I think it's pretty interesting. Depending on what cards are revealed, this could become really, really good or like average. But it's still a solid card. I think it's going to be dependent on the support around it.
Yeah. She is not as strong as the other like Brunhild stuff, but I think she's pretty cool for Isis.
I mean, it's at least helping her because this card this deck needed help. So
this is
get somewhere.
Yeah, this is a power level that I would like to see, like for the new cards coming out. Like I think this is really interesting.
I would definitely agree with that. Like especially for the decks that didn't have it, they need that bump up. And I'd be interested to see what Nyarlathotep does. Like this. She's a 2 cost, so it'd be interesting what she does. I'm assuming she'll be a rare.
I mean, she could be a super rare.
I'm just assuming it's kind of going the same thing as Brunhild's card we just saw. It's a 2 cost rare. This is a SR.
Yeah, but like. She says she's a god devouring messiah, so maybe she like devoured the god and is gonna take the place of the god. Who would have played, I don't know.
The god who would have been.
I like how and his army of anyways. I like First Strike and Bane. That's a super super strong combination because it's pretty much like she'll never lose on attacking.
Yeah, no, I agree. And as had pointed out, it's going to be like really strong inside of a limited format.
I like how we are seeing more dual color stuff. It's just not like, I don't think it'll be dual color stones, but I think it'll be dual color tech inside of the cards themselves.
That could be, yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
Which is what we were like seeing already, like with Brunhild.
Yeah, exactly.
And
like
Isis,
so I think that's cool.
Flavor. Wait.
A tomb.
A tomb now consumed. What's a tomb?
It's the god. I assume that's who Nyarlathotep be.
The Ascendants lost all power they once had. Now all alone, Isis entrusts everything to the Messiah from another world.
Ooh, that's so cool.
I guess that is pumping how strong she could be.
Dude, I know, right? That's what I'm saying. Like, Nyar ate a fucking god, and now he's super fucking badass. I don't know.
All right, next up.
Next up is Godly Aura. It's a 1-cost quick cast chant rune with Divinity 3. Choose one. If you control Nyarlathotep, God Devouring Messiah, you may choose both instead. Put a Fire Moon Edition token to the field. Draw a card. Or this card deals 400 damage multiplied by the number of Moon Editions you control to target J/Resonator.
Oh, that should say J Resonator or opponent. That'd be broken.
No, that'd be
that'd
broken.
so cool. No,
For one, too. I know. Yeah.
This is already super strong for one.
I'm convinced there's going to be more Moon generation, maybe even on Nyarlathotep, to bring stuff in. Like, this is starting to look pretty solid.
If you are able to permanently stick Isis, this is such a good card, even if you don't get both effects, because you're paying 1 to draw a card and put out something that'll produce 1 will. So this is essentially free draw a card, and then next turn you'll be able to produce 2 different. It's exactly that. If you have Isis on the field,
it's like replacing a card. But the coolest thing about this is that Nyar is going to be 2 cost or less. I don't know. I doubt or less, but
I'm sure she'll be 2.
Well, yeah, and like that's super tight.
Yeah,
she looks awesome.
Yeah. If anything from these cards that I'm really excited about is the fact that she's gaining so much like her will production that she needs to really either make it worth flipping the ruler or even activating a lot of those abilities she has on her J ruler side that costs 1 and 2. So it's definitely coming together. I think it's really solid.
Yeah.
I like how Nyar has 3 tails, and I'm hoping that it somehow goes to like 9 tails eventually. Like she follows along into the next set and stuff, and she just keeps gaining tails. Be cool. Anyways, was that mine or was that yours, Oscar?
That was mine. I'll read the flavor here. It says, a force strong enough to seal away a god. Null Moon, she called it. That's got to be a card.
Null Moon's probably what's going to tie this all together.
Yeah.
Well, we already saw the card, didn't we? We saw.
Did we? We saw Null Moon?
No, not really. It was. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Go on and talk more. I thought there was a big moon.
Yeah, so those were what was spoiled today. So it's all obviously they're all SRs and Rs, but that's a pretty consistent high power level, I feel like, for all of them. So I'm curious if it's like funk and then they'll kind of taper off a bit, or if it's going to stay like this in like a steady line, or if it's going to go up as we'll see where it goes from there. Briefly, we'll real quick go over the cards that were there's just 2 more cards that were spoiled.
Just gonna throw in also like I'm really excited with what I'm seeing so far. I haven't been disappointed yet. I'm also not like necessarily afraid of what's happening yet, but I'm also keeping an eye out on this because I mean you got to keep in mind as well as like sealed just for pre-releases. How fun is that going to be with some of these cards and just keeping that in mind.
Yeah, I'm a little worried with Brunhild. Isis, not right now, but we'll see what cards that she could easily flip either way. But Brunhild's got me a bit worried with some of that. Like I said, it's free cards are always not a big. I'm not a big fan of, and so like you're getting rewarded for doing rewarding stuff in addition to the other one, which you're getting rewarded for doing rewarding stuff. So that's 2 cards that are, it's like, hey, you destroyed a J ruler, here's a reward. Hey, you destroyed all the magic stones, here's a reward, which makes you flip a card, which gives you another reward, which you could potentially grab something, which gives you another reward. So combos is one thing, but this is less combos and more just like, here's free stuff. Because of the rune deck, it's less a combo and more a guaranteed thing. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I'll say, since you guys both said, I'm worried about Brunhild, but I also realize there's a decent amount of counters, right? There's counters to Brunhild, but they're not in every color. Like green Hanzo like has the Master and cancel. It has a 2-drop cancel on a body now. So like there's definitely stuff like it has all lowrides for like the next 3 months or whatever. But like there's stuff that that Hanzo gets that I feel like can counter Brunhild pretty well. But
I think the Sealing Scroll is the best bet.
Yeah, exactly. I'm definitely scared of like Brunhild Alter combo. I think that's what I'm most scared of right now. I think that's like a really interesting lock and like deck that just comes down, destroys all of the Magic Stones, and then tries and wins like next turn or something.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna real quick just read what these 2 promo cards are. We won't really get into them too much. If you guys are curious, just go check out the podcast. I think that that was at the front end of the podcast, so you can just listen to that.
That was like
we
most
talked
of the
about it for a
podcast.
while. Yeah, it was the podcast.
Yeah. The first card was Satan, God of the Fallen, which is a 3 void, 1 black, 1 red, 14/14 high god. So his text is, while you're searching your deck, you may pay fire or black and reveal this card from your deck. If you do, remove this card from the game with a fallen counter on it. Enter effect. Choose one. If there are 10 or more fallen counters on this card, you may choose both instead. Your opponent banishes a resonator. Repeat this process until the combined total cost of resonators banished this way is equal to or greater than the number of fallen counters on this card. Or put any number of resonators where combined total cost is equal to or less than the number of fallen counters on this card from your graveyard into the field. As long as this card is in your removed area with 1 or more fallen counters on it, it gains whenever an effect you control or a cost causes you to lose life. If this card is in your removed area, put a fallen counter on it. You may play this card from your removed area. If you do, it enters with X fallen counters, where X is equal to the number of fallen counters that were on it while it was in the removed area. You know, the more I'm reading this, the more I'm hating this card. This is just good. You're going to go play against someone who doesn't know what this card is, and it's going to be like a 1-hour ordeal of explaining what this card does, and it's going to be the worst. It's going to be the worst. I hate it.
Judge, he's slow playing.
How do people play
He read me
Yu-Gi-Oh?
this entire book.
This is terrible.
They should. The whole point of Yu-Gi-Oh is that you know what the card is doing to you. So like, you don't play it and then they're like,
Yeah.
wait a minute, what does that do? And
But
like,
rounds in Yu-Gi-Oh are like 2 minutes because of how the power levels. So you can take time reading cards also. But one thing I need to clarify from the podcast, though, that I missaid, for the banishment, it's equal to or greater than. So if you have 7 counters and your opponent has 3 3-cost resonators, they would banish 1, that's 3, banish 2, that's 6, and they would banish the last one because it has to be equal or greater than the number of counters.
Oh, I thought it was less than.
No, that's the resonator from your graveyard is less than. I got it jumbled when I was reading this novel. So it's actually a pretty decent banish effect.
Yeah, that's a lot better too, because you can bring it in with like 2 counters and have them sacrifice like a 6 cost or something.
Yeah, 6 cost, or they'll have to, if they have a 1 cost and an 8 cost, then they have to banish both of them.
If they have any tokens.
Oh no, they would just banish the 8 cost. I'm dumb, but yeah, you're right.
Well, how does that work? Like, well, yeah, I guess they get to choose their cost.
Yeah, an example as Samuel had given in a comment thread was, if your opponent has a 1 cost, 2 cost, and 3 cost, and you have 3 counters on your card, they could banish the 3 cost, they could banish the 2 cost and 1 cost, or they could banish the 1 cost and 3 cost, or the 2 cost and 3 cost. They can choose what combo, because you might want to keep the lower cost on the field, maybe, or some variation. But there's that to keep in mind.
Hold on. They need to banish stuff equal to or greater than, right? So can they banish like a 1 cost if they have 3 counters on it? How does banishing stuff that like, are they required to banish?
I assume you repeat it. It says you repeat it till it's equal then or greater. So they keep repeating it until they can't anymore, or it's equal to or greater. It's not like you would enter and then you get no banishment. I would assume.
Okay.
I would assume.
Okay.
Obviously, we're not going to get CR updates, so or maybe
I'm
someone
sure,
smart and knows how it works.
Yeah, it probably already works within the.
The second card was
I see.
Kaguya. This is the buy 2 box promo. Sealed God of the Moon. It's a 3 cost quick cast 7/7 Fairy Tale High God. She has quick cast. Enter, cancel target spell. Rune 2. You may pay 1 void less to play this card. Second effect. If you control exactly 5 resonators, exactly 7 magic stones, and there are exactly 5 cards in your graveyard, this card gains flying, and whenever this card deals damage to your opponent, draw 7 cards and recover up to 7 magic stones you control.
Do you think people are gonna try and aim like for that effect? Because it's a pretty insane effect.
Try to intentionally no, but it managed to get there and be like, oh, you know what? I just need to do this one last thing. Okay, cool, I got it. Yeah. Honestly, why not?
I don't know, man.
Because controlling 5 resonators is hard.
Yeah.
It's not that hard. You can do tokens or something crazy.
In green-white, it's a little hard.
Green, then, well, first of all, you'd be green with like some white maybe. You would just play like 4 mana dorks and then play her. Like, I don't know. I'm just saying, like,
you can make some tokens, not in this color. Well, yeah, you can make mana dorks. That's not a token, Joey. They can't just branch off and pretend you're right the whole
I'm
time.
just saying, like, mana dorks are just as available.
One last question before we do go. I didn't read the thread that you were in with Sam and everybody else. Did they clarify as well loss of life, paying life?
So he was
pretty sure I was wrong, but
he was saying that damage counts as loss of life. But the thing that I was saying originally in the video was referring to Idrissel, the evil Idrissel deck, with that loss of life ruling with who was it that specifically worked with, or was it Idrissel specifically? I forget. But point is, there was a ruling back then, or specifically it says on the text, damage does not count as loss of life, and someone referred that to him. And he basically said, okay, well, or he said he was aware of that, and so he kind of sounded unsure of which direction it would go. So I'm still sticking with the old thing on the text where it says damage does not count as loss of life.
Right. What about your other part where you said paying life is a cost and would count? Does that still count?
Oh, he didn't address that, but it's so I would assume
that's probably I was more curious about that part.
He did a long paragraph of what we were wrong about, and that was not in there. So I assume we were right about that. And then Sam, if you're watching, comment below or something.
Or if anybody knows and wants
we need 2 more paragraphs, please.
All right, but
thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys are as excited about this as we were, or are not, whatever.
I'm actually getting excited about this.
But we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Yeah.